Hey people, it's Niall talking. Now this is another Black History video, and this is to celebrate blacks in the medical field. So anyway, this is from Team Rubicon USA. Founded in a predominantly black neighborhood and staffed entirely by black paramedics, the Freedom House Ambulance Service set the standard for ambulance services and helped establish the training program and procedures for modern EMS systems. Can I say again, this established the program and procedures for modern EMS systems. Black people did this. Its celebration of Black History Month, Team Rubicon is sharing the stories of black trailblazers in our line of work, emergency management and disaster response. One group whose work had a profound impact on the world's emergency medical service systems is the trailblazing Freedom House Ambulance Service. Founded in 1967 by the Pittsburgh civil rights organization Freedom House, which offered job training assistance to black Pittsburghers, the Freedom House Ambulance Service was created largely to serve the predominantly black community of the Hill District. Prior to the mid-1960s, most ambulance services in the city were provided by the police, who would typically rush people to the hospital in the back of a police van. During an emergency, many residents of the Hill District were reluctant to call the primarily white Pittsburgh police force. When they did call, police were often slow to respond. These racial tensions existed against the backdrop of a community that desperately needed emergency medical care. George McCreary, a Freedom House paramedic, describes the Hill District of the 60s and 70s, saying people had seizures, strokes, gunshots, stabbings, heart attacks, the whole nine yards right here in this area. As it sought to address the need in the Hill District and launched the ambulance service, Freedom House began by recruiting would-be paramedics from within the community, including many who had experienced long-term unemployment, had criminal records, or were veterans of the Vietnam War. Freedom House worked closely with Dr. Peter Safar, known as the father of CPR, to design and implement a revolutionary 32-week training program that would turn these recruits from the Hill District into the world's first ever first responders. The recruit training included 300 hours of anatomy, physiology, CPR, advanced first aid, nursing, and defensive driving instruction. Once they're on the road, the Freedom House Ambulance became the first emergency medical service in the United States to be staffed by paramedics with medical training beyond basic first aid. Deployed at first in donated and refitted ambulances, the Freedom House paramedics were soon breaking medical ground by offering unheard-of emergency care to patients while en route to the hospital. In the Hill District, where slow ambulance response times had once been a source of contention between residents and police, the Freedom House ambulances had a typical response time of less than 10 minutes. During its first year of operation, the Freedom House Ambulance Service responded to nearly 5,800 calls and transported more than 4,600 patients. And according to data collected by Dr. Safar, its paramedics saved 200 lives. Gene Starzinski, the filmmaker of the documentary 2009 documentary Freedom House Street Saviors, witnessed the work of the Freedom House paramedics firsthand and attributed their effectiveness to their compassion for the community. That's the number one thing they brought to the table. Starzinski says they cared. Even as they faced racism from hospitals, patients, and local government, Freedom House paramedics came to be known for the high standards of care they provided. Eventually, even the police began requesting them for urgent life-threatening calls throughout the city. As Freedom House became a leader for ambulance services in the US and internationally, they helped develop the first national training standards for paramedics and the first nationally recognized design for ambulances, making EMS history. By 1975, Freedom House had instituted ongoing training for their paramedics in unprecedented areas such as intubation, cardiac care, and IV drug administration. That year, when the U.S. Department of Transportation and the White House came together to form an interagency council on emergency medical services, it adopted Freedom House's training regimen as their pilot course. So black people founded this course that, when you get picked up by the paramedics, who often don't look after black people in the modern day, they are trained of what black people did. First, the innovative techniques that the Freedom House paramedics had pioneered became the national training model for EMS programs in the U.S. Though highly regarded throughout the medical field and beloved by residents of the Hill District, the Freedom House Ambulance Service was forced to cease operations at the end of 1975 when the mayor of Pittsburgh instituted a citywide ambulance service. Most of the black paramedics who had served on the ambulance crews for Freedom House were excluded from comparable work within the new system. The legacy of the Freedom House Ambulance Service lives on in the training that today's first responders receive and the high quality of medical care that they gave their patients. By refusing the status quo and raising the standard of care in their own community, the black paramedics at Freedom House raised the standard of care for all. And I want to say this, you know what James Small said, Professor James Small? He talked about how black people are behind everything in the United States, in the Western Hemisphere, that added to humanity or made life better for everyone. Freedom, human rights laws, civil rights laws, things that, inventions that help everybody. I mean, like I said, despite the fact that black people are so denied of resources within the system, that they still were able to build this paramedic system that wowed everyone and set an example of what black people can do. And I want to say this, it's been said time and time again, but I want to let people know more black people need to go into the medical field, the STEM field. Tell your children to go into the science and technology and electrical mechanical engineering fields. You know, there need to be more black doctors. It saves lives when black people can go in and be seen by a black doctor, because most of the times the racism that exists out there goes into the medical field. Oh, it's just some black person causing problems, making up a statement, or being argumentative, aggressive, saying things just to waste our time. There needs to be black doctors, black nurses, black everything in the medical field, and black paramedics. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.